It's interesting. As we look at the holiday season, we know consumers are starting to spend and are spending more. We find that brands who are effective at making connections are using first-party and third-party data, often in collaboration with a loyalty ecosystem. That gives them really great intent signals and then also enables them to make better decisions around how to make relevant and rewarding messaging to consumers.
Gillian, AI has become the headline topic in marketing these days, but the value really depends on the data underneath. From your perspective, what does it take to build the kind of data foundation that makes AI truly effective for marketers?
The key really is identity and data is what really powers AI. If you're able to have a sound identity layer that can identify consumers and then use permissioned and robust first-party data combined with high-quality third-party data, that really is what's going to make the difference in terms of differentiated as well as performing AI.
The too much data, not enough actionable data has been a perennial issue. Now, again, like everything else, more than ever, perhaps. How can brands distinguish between the data that adds real value and the data that just adds noise?
So I think a couple of things as a data person. The more data, the better. There was an IDC white paper that was released over the summer and very much focused on this topic. Really, this headline there was, there's a lot of the technology is the same. What differentiates is the data. So having more data, high quality data, is actually what's going to make a differentiated solution for brands when they're powering their AI. So for brands, using your first party data, very important, and getting as much of it as you can, but also third party data will really help drive that differentiation and ultimately the power of AI, the models, et cetera, that our brands are using.
So even as we still talk about the preeminence of first-party, third-party data is not dead. What's your sense in terms of understanding the connection there?
So the key thing around is, that's where I talk about the identity layer. So having a robust identity that you can actually stitch all of that disparate data together is really important. At Epsilon, we have Core ID. But that foundation really ensures that you can link the data accurately and at an individual consumer level, which is key really to driving performance.
Speaking of that key individual level, as personalization becomes more sophisticated, so do consumer expectations around both the expectations around comfort with that data and their privacy. How can brands use data and technology in ways that make experiences feel personal but not invasive? It's a tricky balance, right?
It is. So it's how to be personalized, that's relevant and valuable versus not being creepy. So from a consumer, I think what's really important for them, transparency and choice, and to feel in control of data is the most important part. At Epsilon, we work very carefully to ensure we follow all of the privacy regulations as well as the data compliance that's required state by state. I highly recommend, obviously, for marketers as well, very important to ensure that consumers have the ability to adjust, change, and update their data. So that's that foundation. Then I think when it comes to activation, equally important, how you're using that data effectively to power a strong message that's relevant. And also managing frequency. So, fun thing everybody complains about, stop trying to pitch me when I just bought your product. All come together to make it important that a consumer, I think, will actually embrace personalization. They all say they want it, as long as they get value out of it.
Looking to the holiday, past the holiday season to next year, what trends do you see as surrounding and accelerating the changes that you've just outlined around personalization and the ability to marshal huge amounts of data and make it actionable?
So I think hopefully prior to that, it's get the foundation right. Make sure you've got the identity, the hygiene, and the tech to put it all together. Then the next step, I think, for marketers is to really work on that, adding that data layer more and more so, and to evolve, test, and learn additional data that they can see what drives performance, and ultimately give them the business results of what they're looking for. It's interesting when you look at data, sometimes what you think may be predictive and powerful isn't, and can also be the inverse. So expanding, looking, and testing is going to be really important. I mentioned the IDC white paper. They actually ran research with marketers, and they actually found, hopefully I get the stats right, about 30 to 40% were buying more data to power their AI. And I think more importantly, what's important is anywhere from 20 to 30% actually found that it delivered on their expectations or over-delivered on their expectations, which I think is critical at the end of the day because it's got to actually deliver value.